Dan.
Yeah,
Thank you. So, as you can see, I'm extremely pleased today to announce that my friend Dan Albas will join our team as a campaign co-chair for British Columbia. Dan has a very distinguished record, as one of the most dynamic members of Parliament. As you know, he was first elected in 2011 and re-elected in 2015. He has served as Parliamentary Secretary to the President of the Treasury Board and as an official opposition critic for interprovincial trade and labor mobility, and more recently as a Deputy Finance critic. He scored his biggest legislative victory in 2012 when his private member's bill, Bill C-311, more commonly known as Free My Grapes Bill, received unanimous support by all parties. That bill modifies an old law dating from the Prohibition era that prevented Canadians from importing wine from another province for personal consumption. Imaginez, jusqu'à récemment, en tant que Québécois, je ne pouvais commander une bouteille de vin de l'Ontario ou de la vallée de l'Okanagan, mais ces vignobles pouvaient vendre leur vin à quelqu'un de New York ou du Texas. Dan a également lancé un mouvement pour libéraliser la bière au Canada à la suite de l'affaire Como au Nouveau-Brunswick, un citoyen qui voulait essayer de transporter de la bière du Nouveau-Brunswick au Québec a été payé une amende et a été poursuivi pour ne pas avoir respecté la loi du Nouveau-Brunswick. C'est incroyable comment de règlements ridicules nous avons encore dans ce pays. L'élimination des barrières interprovinciales au Canada est l'une de mes propositions principales dans ma plateforme économique et je crois qu'il est tout à fait dommage et décevant qu'après 149 ans, nous n'avons pas encore d'union économique au Canada. Il est plus facile de commercer avec un pays étranger que de commercer avec des entreprises de d'autres provinces. Plus tôt cet été, j'ai proposé d'adopter une charte canadienne des droits économiques et de créer une commission de la liberté économique. Cette commission aura le pouvoir d'enquêter sur les infractions par les provinces, d'aider les citoyens et les entreprises à intenter des poursuites, et cette commission aura le pouvoir elle-même de poursuivre les provinces qui ne respectent pas la Constitution en imposant des règlements qui sont contre la liberté de commerce. I'm very proud and very happy today that we have on my team a guy that is very known with his colleagues and also one person that it was able to accomplish a lot for having more free trade in our country and to reduce economic barriers between provinces. As a former critic for interprovincial trade and mobility, Dan knows the issues very well, and I will be able to count on him for that, and also for other economic issues. I'm very pleased, and Dan is an important part of our team. Thank you very much. Dan?
Thank you, Maxime.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And I'd like to begin by thanking yourself, Maxime, for your leadership, as well as for everyone to take the time to be here with us. It is not likely a surprise to anyone what our announcement is about today, and I'm very proud to announce I will be endorsing Maxime Bernier as the next leader for the Conservative Party of Canada. More important to me are the reasons for why I have decided to do so. Now, there's been much discussion as to what qualities that person should have. What resonates with me is the importance of leadership and having a comprehensive and positive vision for our party and most importantly for our country. I also believe it's important to be able to articulate that vision in both official languages. And ultimately, we as a country cannot continue to be guided by style and not substance. Now, this isn't to suggest that I don't think Max isn't a stylish guy, because we all know that he is. But more importantly, he is a person of substance. Ideas, in my view, is how we as a party and as a country can move forward. Now, throughout the leadership campaign, so far we've heard a number of ideas from Maxime Bernier, focusing the power of government to areas it is ideally positioned to, And that includes protection of our rights and freedoms through limited government and unleashing growth through an entrepreneurial spirit. These things help to encourage an open and free society. Maxime is not afraid to put ideas forward that some may take issue with, and that is part of leadership. To shun the temptations of temporary political wins and state the principles that you believe in. I believe Maxime Bernier is such a leader. I would also add that we share a strong belief in accountability, and that federalism is respecting the Constitution and provincial jurisdiction. And when we look abroad, we embrace trade and opportunity. And of course, near and dear to me is our own interprovincial trade. I believe these principles will become increasingly important as our current Liberal government walks us down the garden path of debt and deficits with no return to balance in sight. Now, I'm from the Okanagan Valley, often referred to as the cradle of free enterprise in British Columbia, a province, I'll point, which is leading the country in terms of jobs, economic growth, and opportunity, and of course, with a balanced budget. There is no candidate for leader who more embraces these economic principles than Maxime Bernier. And the next leader of the Conservative Party of Canada must be willing to take on the status quo with a bold message, and to be candid, must be capable of defeating Trudeau. I believe Maxime Bernier has a plan and a vision that will accomplish these goals, and it's my honor to endorse him and his candidacy, and to work to make sure his vision for this country, for our party, becomes a reality. Thank you.
Merci. Thanks, Dan. Very pleased.
Merci.
Yeah.
Mr. Albas, I'm sorry, I was like snow in traffic. How do you envision your role being? Like, what do you think specifically? Would it be ground game or?
So Maxime has asked me to take on as co-chair. We already have a very strong ground team in both in British Columbia and across the country. So I'm going to be working specifically in British Columbia, on Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland, in the interior, the north, wherever we have people that want to see good things happen, not just in British Columbia, but in this great country.
And what's the main policy issue, I guess, policy position that convinced you that Maxime Bernier was the candidate of your choice?
Well, first of all, as I said in my comments, I'm for limited government. I believe Maxime understands that we have a federal role and there's provincial roles, then we have to respect the Constitution. Second to that, I also believe that while the Liberals are focusing on redistributing income, we need to grow. Our demographics are a concern, and I want to make sure that young people like my girls, I have 4 girls, age 18 down to 4, have opportunity. And if we continue to simply to sit back and not engage by looking at how we tax Canadians, looking at the status quo in terms of different policies, everything from interprovincial trade, supply management, whatnot, that we're not fully taking the opportunities in front of us. And if we continue to let the Trudeau government basically tax us and spend us into deficits, I don't think that we're going to be down the right path. So Mr. Bernier has offered a strong platform of ideas that I believe British Columbians will embrace. And again, I will go back to it. British Columbia is leading this country in terms of economic growth, jobs. We see lots of people who are coming to British Columbia for those opportunities, and British Columbia is taking our opportunities in terms of trade. They want to see things like the TPP go forward. They want to see the Canada-European Free Trade Agreement go forward. So I'm from a province that wants to have opportunity, and that's what Maxime Bernier represents.
And why shouldn't your province vote for someone from their province?
Well,
from a candidate from their province?
Well, the great thing about this party is that anyone can run, but I also like the fact that Maxime Bernier has been talking about these ideas for years. And again, I go back to my support base in the Okanagan, entrepreneurs, retirees, young people that want to have opportunities and jobs. So farmers that depend on free trade, wineries that want to see their products go to Quebec.
Yeah.
And again, these are the things that I was elected on. And so many of my supporters have been asking me, well, who are you going to support? Obviously, it's going to be Maxime. And until now, until I've seen Maxime not only lay out a comprehensive vision, but articulate and defend it, that's where I said he's showing the leadership qualities that I want to see in our next leader.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. Bonne journée.